Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate the chance.
I talked to your colleagues. I talked to Wesley Bell last night. I talked to Congressman Garcia. I want to understand what success looks like for you and for Democratic members of Congress as it relates to everything going on in the world of Jeffrey Epstein files and Donald Trump.
Well, I think there's two big things. I mean, one, this really exposes Donald Trump as the lying scumbag that he is. I mean, and look, there's a whole bunch of other policy issues, but the fundamental lack of character from Donald Trump is on display here. He lied about the Epstein files for years, trying to use them against Democrats by making up conspiracy theories that were all lies. And this, I mean, the lies are across the board, and you've seen it this week, lying about what President Obama was doing on the Russia investigation. I mean, lies are the cornerstone of how he governs, and we need to expose him on that. And then the scumbag piece is here he is hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. And by the way, several of the people who were abused and sexually assaulted by Epstein have accused Donald Trump of groping them and other sexually inappropriate behavior towards them. This exposes Donald Trump for who he is, number one. Number two, it puts pressure on the Republicans in Congress, because in the short term, that's who's up. You know, we're trying to get the majority back in the House and hopefully the Senate so we can begin to stop just the cascade of horrible things that the Trump administration is doing. And here we have Republicans doing the bidding of a lying scumbag and undermining victims of sexual assault by turning their backs on them, by being unwilling to do anything that Donald Trump doesn't want. How hard would it have been for Mike Johnson to just give us this vote and for the House to go on record saying, Trump, turn over the files. You should do this. This shows that the Republicans in Congress are now just part of a Donald Trump cult. They are not looking out for the American people on any issue, even an issue as simple and as compelling as standing up for victims of sexual abuse.
So Mike Johnson's argument was that Congress needed some space. I like that's just weird language. It's like journalists don't need space, members of Congress don't need space. We have jobs to do. That said, I guess the hope is that in the 5 weeks that Congress is off, this will actually die down. You and other Democrats are making a point that this Epstein story actually connects to the larger job that Donald Trump is doing as president. And I suppose the answer to making this resonate for voters is to keep doing that.
Yeah, two points. First of all, it won't die down because when we come back, release the files, don't release the files. I mean, this is still going to be an issue. But second, yes, this ties into Donald Trump's governing philosophy and Republicans' governing philosophy. Lie and do whatever you want to do. You know, he stood up and said, you know, we're not going to touch Medicaid. And they cut Medicaid repeatedly. He ran his campaign on the idea that nothing was more important than inflation. Well, inflation is going up. And if you heard Trump say anything about, here's my plan for bringing it down, no, he's passing tariff after tariff after tariff that is just driving it up. He lied to us, okay? He said he was going to end the war in Ukraine on day one. Well, that's just a complete lie. He had no intention of doing it, certainly no ability of doing it. He's saying, give me the Nobel Peace Prize because of peace in the Middle East. There is no peace in the Middle East, okay? Donald Trump's entire thing is a facade based on lies. And yes, Epstein brings this home, but it points out what he is doing on the budget, even on immigration. He tells us, I'm going to go after the worst of the worst. I'm going to get the dangerous criminals off our streets. And instead, you've got ICE, you know, raiding neighborhoods, taking children out of schools, taking parents off of job sites. It's all lies designed to enhance his power, and it is hurting the American people. Now, there's 1,000 issues that drive this home, not just what he did with Jeffrey Epstein. But if that is what gets people's attention, then we're going to keep pressuring on it because of all those other issues, and because also the Epstein thing does matter. We should hold sexual predators accountable. That shouldn't be a difficult issue.
So let's focus on that for a second. Teresa Helm, a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse, was on with my colleagues earlier this morning. Let me just play something that she told them and get your reaction on the other side.
There's so much residual and ongoing heartache from not only my experience, but the experiences of so many women that have been harmed by these people. So to be honest, it seems like a spectacle ongoing, whether it's one side or the other. Everyone is up in arms about it, and as they should be.
She makes an important point, right? That as you just made, that the focus here, if we're going to relitigate this whole thing, it needs to be about the survivors. How do you navigate this and not go down this rabbit hole and stay on the right side of this issue where you're not aligning yourselves with QAnon people and conspiracy theorists, but saying we need to figure out more about this so that we get more and greater justice and fairness for survivors of sexual violence and of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell?
So stick to the facts. I mean, look, you got the Trump MAGA people talking about, Hillary Clinton leading some ring of cannibalistic pedophiles that is pure fantasy with no evidence behind it. But in this case, you've got multiple accusers talking about Donald Trump inappropriately groping them. You've got Trump himself saying famously publicly that he did it. Okay, stick to the facts. And also within the Trump administration, they have shown a lack of concern for the mistreatment of women, certainly in the nominations they made. Let us not forget that the Secretary of Defense was credibly accused of sexual assault, settled that case, had multiple other people who accused him of inappropriate behavior towards women in the workplace and elsewhere. And he's not the only one in the administration. So I think holding the Trump administration accountable for that, and sorry, I forgot one of the other biggest lies that Trump has told, is that he's going to get the debt under control and that we had to pass that budget reconciliation bill because of how bad the debt was. It adds $3.5 trillion to the debt.
Oh, no, it doesn't, Congressman. You're just being crazy. These are existing things you just don't understand.
Trump is looking us in the face. He's lying to us, he's taking our money, and he's laughing at us about it. And the Epstein case drives that home. That's what he did. Can you imagine the audacity of this, for Trump to have spread this particular lie when no public official was closer on the record to Jeffrey Epstein than Donald Trump? And yet he just thinks he can lie to us with impunity.
Yeah.
We got to hold him accountable for it. That's what this is about.
Congressman, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us. Democratic Representative Adam Smith of Washington. All right, coming up, Viktor Orban is Hungary's longest-serving prime minister, responsible more than anyone else for undermining his country.